Hey guys, I am Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, and today I wanted to show you a couple more of my favorite knives. Unfortunately, you may or may not be able to get your hands on one of these knives. Why? Because they were bought as part of a sale that was being held by Wright or Battle Horse Knives, and I'm going to show you a couple of them today. But the reason I bought these knives is in a previous video I showed you the PLS K1 and how this particular blade profile of the way it arches forward and back, and the overall blade profile, the way the belly of this blade is and the way the handle is shaped, has become such a favorite of mine because of the way it functions in the type of activities that I participate in, from both survival, woodcraft, bushcraft, hunting, fishing, trapping, those types of activities, the stuff that I do out in the woods. This has just become a nice all-around design. It fits several purposes and has traits that I really like. So as I was looking at Wright, they sent out a message that they were going to have a sale. They put this knife up for sale and I grabbed it. This particular knife is just a hair bit thinner than the PLS K1, but it's a little bit thicker than the Go No Show. I'm not exactly sure what the thickness is. I don't have any way of measuring that right now, but it is as thick as I care to go for an everyday carry knife, but it is thick enough that you can abuse it and pry with it and you don't have to worry about snapping this thing off. It has a really nice, the taper on the Scandinavian grind comes up a little bit higher, so the Scandinavian grind is not quite as steep because the blade is a little thinner and the grind goes just a tad bit higher, which makes it slice a lot better than like the performance of the PLS K1. But it's a little bit steeper than the GNS, but it's a nice blend of the two, giving you the beefiness that you need in this particular blade, but yet the taper that you need to do that fine carving work. This particular knife is made out of A2, and I didn't have a knife any longer out of A2 except for my Genesis, and the A2, you lose the ability to strike the back and get good sparks off of it. It's the chromium, I believe, is so high in it that it's really pushing just almost to the point of being stainless. But with this having a hardness in the very high 50s to low 60s, I believe is what it hardened out at. It has a good edge retention, although it does take a little bit more work to keep that fine edge on there. But I have found that by using diamond type material, stone type materials, and diamond rods, that it's easy to maintain and touch up, but not something that you're going to be able to take out and sharpen with a rock out in the field, at least not very easily, and I'm certainly not going to be able to do that with the rocks we have in our area. I'm going to need that diamond hone. But for something that I'm going to be doing the maintenance and all in a home type or a camp environment, it's a nice compromise just because it does have that edge retention. The back still has the 90-degree spine. It has that handle profile that I really like that gives you that palm swell, plus this rounded end down here where your finger locks in really takes away that fatigue down on the end of the finger. It's the exact profile that I like in the GNS, but yet just a little bit thicker than the other one I have, and in this new type of this A2 material, at least new for me. I liked it so much that I went ahead and ordered a sheath in both right and left hand because I wear my knife on both sides. The other knife that I found is the exact same blade profile. and this was found on Battle Horse's yard sale, and it has a handle shape that is very much like the PLSK1, but it's flatter. Instead of it being rounded with that broomstick, it's not only just tapered here and widens out in the back, but the overall profile is thinner, and that just makes for a nice everyday carry knife. This knife was an old sawmill blade, not the band type, but the big wheel type. And I'd actually contacted that company a few months earlier and said, if I find one of these, can I cut a piece of steel out of it and have you make me a knife? And then they in turn found one, used their heat treat system and their shop to make this knife, and I didn't have to do it, and the sale price on this thing was just phenomenal. I got a really good deal on this knife. With the sawmill blade that was hardened and tempered out to a performance that is absolutely perfect. The overall blade design, which is exactly what I've been using, a little bit thinner in the handles, just gives me something that doesn't stick out and ride on my side quite as heavy as some of my other knives. Still a large lanyard loop hole at the end that is very nicely tapered and rounded off, so you don't feel that at all as you're working with your knife. And I just really like it. I like the way they left a little bit of this roughness on the blade where it was a sawmill blade type steel, and it's just a very nice functional knife for everyday carry. Now the care and maintenance with this one is very much like some of the other high carbon steels, which this one is considered to be a high carbon steel. 5160, I believe, was the steel type that was used on this particular knife. Still has a 90-degree spine. You can tell I've beat it up, knocking sparks off of it, so it is high enough carbon that it'll peel metal off for starting fires on the charred material, especially char cloth works very well. It's just become a good all-around everyday carry knife. As far as the maintenance with it, I treat it just like my other ones, a little bit of olive oil on it, wipe it off, because I do use this for food prep also, so I like staying with the natural oils. And for long-term storage, if I ever put it up long-term, I'll treat it with a wax type material, just like my other knives. But just a really cool knife. And the reason I bring these up is, I mean, I know I can't give you the knife and the exact specs on it, and you can go out and buy these knives, but it's just to encourage you to find a good custom knife maker, something that has a knife profile that you really like, and follow them on Facebook. Check them out on YouTube, and look for these deals when they come up. Sometimes they're making a knife, and it's a big knife, and something happens and they mess up when they're cutting it out or so. So they'll take that piece of steel and make a smaller knife out of it that's perfect. If you didn't know it came from a piece of stock that was cut out wrong, you would never know any difference whatsoever. But because it wasn't the intended purpose of that knife, or maybe it's a little thinner, a little thicker, or the handle profile is a little bit different, you know, when it comes out, they sell it for a lot cheaper, and you can get a very high quality knife at a substantial discount. And sometimes you can just pick up color patterns and designs that really appeal to you, and give you a knife that's not an everyday production knife, that's something that's a one-off, that you can take a lot of pride in, that you can take care of, and be that heirloom type knife that you can pass down from generation to generation, and just makes it a pleasure to own and use. So keep an eye out for those types of deals when they're out there. You know, yard sales and secondhand thrift stores and that type of stuff are good places to pick up deals, but there's nothing like buying these things right straight from these good US made companies. Supporting those guys who are out there making knives for what we like to do. I love that craftsmanship, and I love these good quality knives, and if you get one, I think you will too. Thanks for joining me once again as I just show you a couple of the knives that I enjoy using when I'm out in the bush. Thanks for joining me. I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, home of global safety and survival. Until next time, God bless.